All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Recently, Bear Degidio, or whatever his name is, of the JAXXON podcast, did an interview with Khamzat Chimaev, and something that I noticed was the unbelievable amount of glaze that was going on. Okay, I've noticed this for a while now about Bear, where he has to glaze absolutely everybody and gets extremely uncomfortable when something critical or negative gets brought up about basically any fighter. It just kind of gets on my nerves. Okay, and I've got a bit of a problem with it. So what I want to do in this video is go over that interview and point out where the glaze is just absolutely out of control, and also where I feel that Bear is just being a massive casual. Okay, because I do believe that he is a massive casual. And listen, okay, this is satire. I will say I do think it's kind of cool that Bear, who comes from an extremely wealthy family, has made this whole MMA gym his little pet project, creating a gym for fighters to train at and even doing promotion and things like that. It's almost Dan Lambert-esque. Okay, that being said, he still drives me up the fucking wall. Now, before we get into the interview, let's throw it over to this video sponsor, MyBookie. All right, guys, UFC 319 is just 2 days away, where Dricus du Plessis will attempt to defend his middleweight title against Khamzat Chimaev. This is my most anticipated fight of the year by far, and not only can I not wait to watch them with you guys on live stream, but also to play some action using MyBookie. MyBookie is my favorite place to make bets. Has a great user interface, lots of prop bets, great odds, and the ability to deposit funds through multiple different means, whether cash or crypto. Use my promo code RONAN50 and my link, mybookie.website/joinwithronan50, to receive a 50% match on whatever you want to deposit up to $1,000. Once again, that's mybookie.website/joinwithronan50, promo code RONAN50, and receive a 50% match on deposits up to $1,000. You deposit 100, you get to play with 150. Deposit 1,000, play with 1,500. Okay, now back to the video.
Khamzat, you're considered the boogeyman of the UFC. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you here at the JAXXON Media House. We watch your entire camp. One of the most respectful, most humble athletes I've ever seen. Work hard, you set the tone. What's so mental in your head that when you go in that cage, you're just a completely different animal?
I don't know what to answer for that, but maybe because how I grow up, you know, tough things make you tough man. So, that's the answer for everything.
Okay, now first of all, what the fuck is this music? I'm getting Red Wedding vibes or something, right? I feel like I'm going to a fucking funeral, and it's so overwhelmingly loud and distracting. Okay, at least my background music is quiet. Do you know what I mean? Also a completely different vibe. Now, I feel like they should have just found some trap beat or something to throw underneath it, because then you could have just uploaded Khamzat talking to SoundCloud and it probably would have been a hit single. Do you know what I mean? He just fucking mumbles like, maybe it's because how I grew up, and it's, you know, I grew up tough, and tough things make you tough, you know. But like I mentioned in the opening, okay, the glaze is just unreal. Khamzat, you're the boogeyman in the UFC. You're the most humble and respectful athlete I've ever met, except for anyone else that I've ever said that to that comes on my podcast. You know what I mean? The guy sounds like that fucking kid from Shrek that says, like, do the roar. Now, I will also add, okay, I'm sure Khamzat is very respectful and kind or whatever, like on a personal level. If you were to meet him, I'm sure he is a nice fella. Okay, but let us not forget that this motherfucker did do a crypto pump and dump on his fans, and I don't know about you, but I'd say that's pretty disrespectful. Okay, but let's continue.
We all want to see you win. We know DDP's a good fighter, but we know you're special. Even Dana White said you're one of the most special people he's ever seen. What do you think makes you so different, though, when you fight?
Maybe because I want to fight. Yeah, I want to fight more than anyone. So that's the, I think, difference between some guys, you know. So I've seen a lot of guys. I've seen a lot of fighters before the fights. Someone is crying, someone is like scared, and they have different emotion. But for me, it's like I said before, it's the normal thing. All my life, I does that, so train hard and fight hard. For me, it's normal. I'm happy to be there and fight.
What the fuck? Did you guys hear Khamzat's voice get to like glass shattering levels there? Okay, that was very strange. He went from, I don't know, maybe managed because I like to fight. Maybe that's the difference between you. I don't know what the fuck was going on behind the scenes, okay? But pay attention to see if Bear wipes his face off when the camera pans back. Now, I do just want to take this opportunity, since he did mention, you know, well, DDP's a very good fighter, but we know that you're special. Even Dana White thinks you're special. Whatever the fuck he said, right? I don't know if he's talking about the short bus special. I would imagine not. And I do understand that Bear is trying to promote Khamzat or whatever, okay? But all throughout the buildup of this fight, he's been kind of denigrating, okay? Kind of disparaging towards DDP. And one of the ways that he did so, in my opinion, exposed his absolute casualness, okay? Not that it was a fucking mystery that he's not got any idea what he's talking about half the time. So I just wanted to play that clip for you guys right now.
Knows anything about MMA. You think Robert Whitaker is better than DDP? Do you think he's more
Chimaev
skilled?
needs to get on that Sam Calavita cardio because that's his only downfall is getting tired.
DDP
ain't gonna get tired.
DDP beat Robert Whitaker, knocked him out.
But I understand that, but do we think, technically speaking, as a fighter, do we think DDP is better all around than Robert Whitaker?
We knocked
He's a
him
better
out,
grappler, and he knocked him out.
I don't.
DDP is a better grappler than Robert Whitaker.
He's a better
and
fighter.
and he knocked him out.
I mean,
what are we even talking about? Okay, what a retarded question. And Luke Rockhold's face when he asks it makes me laugh every single time I watch that clip. Yeah, of course, DDP is better than Robert Whitaker, okay? And I'm a huge Whitaker fan. He's one of 3 fighters that I have ever bought merch from. But what the fuck are we saying? DDP basically ran through Robert Whitaker. Rob had not really anything for him at all. You could literally turn this question around and say the exact same for Chimaev. Well, do you really think that Chimaev is better than Whitaker? Or was he just able to pop his teeth out that night? Like, what the fuck are we even talking about? Which, by the way, actually, on that note, DDP did that to Robert Whitaker as well, okay? A couple of years before Khamzat Chimaev did, but as Sean Strickland would say, I regress. So let's continue.
Khamzat, for people that don't know you, they don't understand that you love fighting and you love your team, you love what you do. I watched you every day. You get in here, you never complain, you work hard, first guy in, last guy to leave. How do you see the fight going with DDP?
That's a good fighter, you know, actually. It's like, he's tough dude, you know, so, well, I'm better fighter than him. In fights can happen anything, but I like watch my skills, watch his skills. I'm totally different fighter than him, you know, so should be good. Should be good my fight.
A lot of people say that you're gonna get the belt easy. You're gonna come in, rip this guy's head off. Then they say they want to see you go fight maybe Alex Pereira or someone bigger, because we've heard you say multiple times you want different division champion, different weight classes. Do you see yourself getting the belt and then going to fight Alex Pereira?
Well, it depends if he wins, so we'll see. But actually, if he win, if he lost, if they give us good money, I want to fight that guy, so why not?
Okay, now there's a couple things there. All right, number one, the way he asked that first question actually drives me fucking nuts, okay? It reminds me of Patrick Bet-David, where the interviewer will just spew a bunch of random facts or like points that are kind of semi-related to what's being spoken about, and then they'll ask the most basic question of all time, and that is exactly what Bear Degidio just fucking did right there, okay? And that style of interview drives me crazy. But then at the end of that clip, that question was so unbelievably casual yet again. Okay, you're gonna go on to fight Alex Pereira. Like, the guy's not even the fucking champion right now, okay? We don't know what's gonna happen between him and Magomed Ankalaev. We don't know if he's gonna even fight after his rematch with Magomed Ankalaev, or if he's going to go up to heavyweight or whatever it is. Now, I will say that I do appreciate, and we're going to talk a little bit about this, a little bit more about this in just a little bit is what I meant to say, okay? I appreciate Khamzat Chimaev is one of these guys who he doesn't act like he doesn't care about money, okay? At the end when he said, even if he lose, brother, if the money's good, why not? Like, I appreciate that, okay? Because all of these fucking guys like to act like they don't care about the money and they're not fighting for the money, whereas Khamzat Chimaev is the exact opposite. Okay, but let's continue.
It's it. And you really love doing this, and I can see that you love fighting. For people that know all the names, and as we get ready to wrap this up, you know, we see a guy like Paulo Costa try to call you out. He's been here on the podcast, and people try to make these wars on Instagram, make the war in the UFC, but some of this stuff you feel like you have nothing to even do with it. You're over here focused. You're like, I don't even know how that happened.
So before, a long time before, when I was starting with MMA, some stuff became like personal listings, you know, so now it's just a fun. I understood like quickly, because it like that people does like talk so much, and it is like fighting game, and they're saying like, we play with your mind and say something to call it out, make him angry. I don't care what Paulo Costa says. I have my life. Has my bank account better than his 10 times, so I would be happy, you know. So this guy is poor, but that's why he's trying to call me out and make money, you know. And I beat the guys who beat him.
Okay, now again, couple things I want to point out. First of all, why the fuck do we pretend that just because a fighter shaves his mustache and not his beard and is from another country, that they're these like silent assassins that don't engage in any trash talk at all, and they're just the most humble, quiet, respectful human beings? And that it's always the other people that are picking on them and shit. It's very fucking strange to me. Okay, Khamzat Chimaev absolutely engages in trash talk. He engages in shit talking on Twitter, gets, you know, into back and forths with other fighters, including Paulo Costa, who got mentioned by name, and whatever else. So to pretend otherwise is just very strange, and to me it's just fucking glazing. Okay, also I want to point out, while I did mention it was refreshing to hear one of these guys not pretend that they don't care about money. Okay, bragging about money is absolutely fucking haram. Okay, now personally I think it's based. Like I said, it's refreshing to hear one of these guys not bullshit everyone and say, oh, I don't care about money, brother. It's all about the legacy or whatever, brother. But right after calling this guy humble, okay, Bear Degidio calls Khamzat the most humble fighter he's ever fucking met. He brags about the size of his bank account. Do you know what I mean? But either way, let's continue.
I gotta pull something up. Yesterday, we had a really good friend who came on the podcast, and he watched you, Brendan Schaub. He said a lot of good things about you on the podcast. Talked about, he watched your cardio. He said you're phenomenal. He watched your strength. Brendan Schaub. Yeah. What he wanted to know was, do you see the legacy of what you have, being undefeated, going into this title fight? Do you feel like the pressure and the legacy of being undefeated going into that is a lot of pressure?
Okay, now I will say I'm not certain because I wasn't there. But that does sound like an absolutely accurate 100% verbatim quote from Brendan Schaub. The legacy and the pressure that comes along with being undefeated, and with that legacy and that pressure, do you feel pressure to hold on to that legacy of being undefeated? I mean, holy shit, bro. Buy a fucking thesaurus or something, okay?
One thing is, we had Rampage Jackson here. He was very excited the other day just to watch, and he was with Ilya and your manager, and he said that the strength you have, it's going to be very hard for anybody to try to take you down and try to work against you, because he's seen it. He understands what natural strength is. He said you have something very special, your strength, your power. Do you feel like you're stronger than anybody in the division?
No, like I always felt, you know, so I'm stronger than anyone, you know, since I was kid. So yeah, that's maybe true, maybe no, I don't know, bro. I'm focused on just going in the cage and fight somebody, you know. So that things makes me happy, you know. They're the only things makes me happy now, right now. Maybe I don't know. It's good to hear it's from the legends, you know, the guys who's been starting with MMA. He's the one of the legends in this sport. Yeah. Good to hear.
I appreciate you. One thing I got to tell you is, you came to my house late night. We were all walking on the beach with Armin and your team and Ilya, and it seems like you have such a control of your mind, right? The way you think about fighting and life, the way you have your people around you. It's a very special thing. We don't see that in a lot of camps.
I always felt like I was stronger than everybody ever since I was a kid, brother, you know. They should have just put a fucking trap beat under this, okay? But either way, I do want to just say that I find it absolutely fucking hilarious that Rampage Jackson has joined in on the Khamzat Chimaev glaze, as well as Bear, especially considering he used to call Khamzat Chimaev cum slut.
So now we're gonna go into a very highly anticipated middleweight fight for the co-main. It was a legend, Robert Whitaker versus Khamzat Chimaev.
Yeah, let's get this.
What do we think about that?
I think, hey, bro, I love cum slut.
Who?
He's fucking tough.
Wait, who?
Cum slut Chimaev.
Hey guys, can we get a vote if that's how we're supposed to say his name? All right, so
Okay, and now Bear has become Khamzat Chimaev's cum slut. So we really did just come full circle, and that's okay. Did you hear that at the end, though? Khamzat was at his house last night. They went for a walk on the beach, and Armin was there too, and Khamzat was able to control his own mind. Now, hopefully, he's not talking about finishing up early, okay? Because that also would be haram.
And last thing is, I watched you do an interview. You spoke so highly, so respectful of Jon Jones, calling him the GOAT. People are already looking at you as probably one of the greatest to ever do it, and you're so young in your career. Do you feel Jon Jones is the GOAT of the UFC?
Of course, he is a GOAT of MMA, bro. So if somebody could be a king of MMA, he's a king of MMA. So that guy is such a good guy and a crazy fighter.
Okay, now I just threw that in there because, one, I find it extremely annoying. We just found out that Jon Jones ducked Tom Aspinall even after his $30 million demand was met, which is just absolutely pathetic. Okay. Also, I do find it funny that Khamzat said Jon was a good person. I know a lot of these fighters don't keep up with outside the cage shit, but I mean, come on. Okay. This guy is probably top 2 most high profile pieces of shit in the sport. Okay. But even the question to me seemed extremely casual and low brow, right? Like, Khamzat, I heard you talking about Jon Jones. You're very respectful, and do you think he's the GOAT? Why not ask, like, what it meant to him to receive such a high praise from his peers and ones that are widely considered as one of the greatest fighters of all time, or some shit, do you know what I mean? But anyways, okay, that's it. I just wanted to make fun of Bear a little bit because he bugs me, okay? Like I said, all the glazing is just over the top. All of the whining about Armin Tsarukyan not getting an immediate title shot after pulling out the day before the fight. He's never willing to criticize any fighter. I mean, this guy admitted to paying Kevin Holland after he was a complete and total cunt on his show. Not to mention, acts like Khamzat is like God's gift to earth. Meanwhile, he scammed his fans with a crypto pump and dump and whatever else, okay? Now, like I said in the opening, I do think it's cool what he's doing. Not only that he has the means to do so because of his daddy, but the fact that with those means, he chooses to do this and try and help make fighters' lives a little bit easier or whatever, right? Gives them a good place to train and things like that. Gives them free promotion and whatever else. It's just less things that they have to worry about. Then they can focus on fighting. I'll call balls and strikes, you know what I mean? Even if I don't like the fucker, okay? But either way, like, subscribe. I would greatly fucking appreciate it. I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye.